I was reborn on the day Damien Thorne got jumped by his bastard half-brother in that fucking alley. This time, I didn't call the cops, and I didn't rush in to take the beating for him. Instead, I put on my headphones and walked the fuck away. Damien ended up with a broken left leg and blind in his right eye. And me? I changed my name, fled the country, and vanished off the face of the earth, right under his goddamn nose. In my last life, I loved him down to my bones. For him, the tendons in my wrists were slashed, I went deaf in both ears, and I was crippled for life. He acted like he cherished me, protected me, but on our 10th wedding anniversary, he fucking shoved me off a cliff. You ruined my life, and you killed Isabel, he snarled. Letting you live this long was already too generous. As I fell, I saw him kiss a picture of his first love. That's when it hit me. He truly believed I'd trapped him, used saving his life to force him into marrying me. He thought I was the bitch responsible for destroying his happiness. Reborn, I decided to get out first this time. I'd respect their fucking twisted love story. The falling sensation vanished. I snapped awake. I heard the sickening thud of fists hitting flesh coming from the alley nearby. Damien Thorne's muffled roars followed. Holy shit, I realized, I was actually reborn. And reborn on the exact day Damien was getting the shit beat out of him by Caleb Vance. Caleb, you piece of shit. Don't think I don't know it's you. Grow some balls, you coward. Dare to do it. Dare to admit it. I peeked around the corner. Damien was stuffed in a burlap sack. Caleb and a gang of big, burly assholes were kicking and punching the living daylights out of him. Caleb, I'm warning you. Let me go right fucking now, or I'll make you pay for the rest of your miserable life. Caleb was already seeing red, his fury boiling over at the threat. Damien, you really won't learn until you're dead, will you? I came here to kill you today. He bent down, picking up a short blade. At the same time, the other guys pulled out knives of various sizes. The glint of steel reflected in the dim light. I couldn't help but shiver, but I quickly shoved my earbuds in. I turned and walked away briskly, just before Damien's scream ripped through the air. Last time, before the knives even came out, I had rushed in. I threw myself over Damien, shielding him with my body. I took the punches, the kicks, the curses for him, and Caleb's knife left me permanently disabled. The Thorne family was grateful I saved Damien's life. They paid for my medical treatment. They even made Damien marry me. My family's martial arts gym got a huge investment because of it, expanding nationwide. After we got married, Damien treated me well. My fingers were weak, useless, so he hired maids for me. Everything was taken care of, big or small. My ears couldn't hear, so he got me the best hearing aids money could buy. When treatments failed and I became gradually paralyzed, he insisted on taking care of me himself. He never let me feel neglected or wronged. Everyone said my suffering was rewarded, that this was my blessing for being a hero. I drowned myself in that supposed happiness. I truly believed we would grow old together like this. Until our 10th anniversary, he sent everyone away, insisting on carrying me up the mountain himself. We reached the summit just as the sun was setting. Thrilled, I leaned against him, whispering I wanted to wish for us to be together forever. I never expected his response. You don't deserve it. His voice was ice cold. 10 years ago, you deliberately got hurt saving me. Then you used that debt to force my family to make me marry you. You ruined my entire life. And you got Isabel killed. Being paralyzed is too good for you. Today is the anniversary of Isabel's death. Why don't you see what it feels like to fall from this high? Consider it penance for what you did to her. I was stunned, frozen. Then he shoved me, hard, off the edge of the cliff. As I plummeted, my vision filled with the sight of Damien Thorne pulling out Isabel Moreau's photo. He kissed it, like a fucking prayer. Fear and despair amplified everything. I could feel the raw hatred pouring off him. So, he'd always thought I was manipulating him, using his parents' guilt to trap him. And Isabel, the love of his life, had left the country on our wedding day. Her plane crashed. No body was ever found. For 10 fucking years, he pretended to love me. It was all an act. Just slowly wearing down my defenses, waiting for the moment I let my guard down, then delivering the fatal blow. But thank fucking God, I was reborn. This time, I wouldn't stick my nose where it didn't belong. Since you love her so much, Damien, I'll let you have her. With that thought, I borrowed a stranger's phone. I sent a quick text to Isabel Moreau, alley across from the tech museum. Damien Thorne is being beaten to death. If you don't go now, he'll die. Then I immediately blocked the number before handing the phone back. I watched from a distance, hidden in the shadows. I saw Isabel rush into the alley with two guys. The sounds from the alley became a chaotic mix. Agonized cries, Isabel frantically shouting Damien's name, Caleb's furious curses. About 15 minutes later, sirens wailed. An ambulance arrived. Caleb and his crew scrambled over a wall and disappeared. I watched with my own eyes as they carried Damien out on a stretcher. He was covered in blood, groaning in pain, unable to form a single coherent word. Right after him, they carried out Isabel. Blood streamed from her right ear. Amid the chaos, I put my headphones back on again. I turned and walked away. Damien Thorne, this time the person who saved you is the one you love. Let's see how fucking happy the two of you can be without me in the picture. News broke that very night. The heir to the Thorne fortune had been brutally attacked and hospitalized. Left leg broken, right eye blinded by a stab wound, and his girlfriend, Isabel Moreau, had heroically saved him. But she'd been stabbed in the right ear in the process, leaving her completely deaf on that side. Damien reported it to the police. He insisted the attackers were led by Caleb Vance, his father's bastard son. But strangely enough, Caleb had an alibi. He was at an auction out of town that day, with video footage to prove it. Suddenly, Damien, the victim, looked like a liar. Is the Thorne heir that scared of the bastard son stealing his inheritance? Is he faking this? Damn, that's smart if it is. Willing to hurt himself that badly. Good thing there was security footage, or his scheme might have worked. I was packing my bags when I saw the news. Fate gave me a second chance. It wanted me away from Damien Thorne. I had to get out of the country, fast. Minimize any chance of crossing paths again. A few days later, my visa still wasn't processed. A friend dragged me to a birthday party. To my absolute shock, I saw Damien Thorne there. He was in a wheelchair, a blanket covering his legs, his right eye bandaged. The recent scandal was still fresh gossip. Everyone knew he'd supposedly tried to frame his half-brother over the inheritance. The moment he appeared, people started pointing and whispering. I didn't want any part of their drama. I turned to leave, but Isabel Moreau grabbed my sleeve. Chloe Reynolds, you were there. You saw Damien getting attacked. Why didn't you save him? I was stunned. I turned back and met Damien's gaze. His left eye burned with a hatred I recognized. In our past life, after 10 years years of marriage, I only saw that look the moment he pushed me. This time, it surfaced so much sooner. Everyone nearby turned to stare. My heart hammered against my ribs. I shook my head. I didn't see anything. No, you did. Damien found the security footage from that day. Isabel shoved her phone towards me. The footage clearly showed me walking past the mouth of the alley, but the angle was bad. It showed me passing by, but not the moment I had peeked inside. I really didn't see anything, I insisted, trying to keep my voice steady. If I had seen him, of course, I would have tried to help. Hearing me, my friend quickly jumped in to defend me. Don't talk nonsense, Isabel. Everyone knows Chloe has had a huge crush on Damien for years. If she saw him getting beaten up, she would have jumped in to take the hits for him without thinking twice. My friend's words made people nod in agreement, but they also left a bitter taste in my mouth. Yes, last time I loved him enough to willingly take that beating, and my reward was being told, you don't deserve it. But Isabel clearly wasn't letting it go. She held up her phone for everyone to see. Look, all of you, look. She was walking right next to the alley entrance. She definitely saw it. I can't believe the daughter of the Reynolds gym owner would not only watch someone get beaten and do nothing but also lie about it. Suddenly, all eyes were on me, filled with accusation. Even my friend looked at me with doubt. Yeah, Chloe, someone chimed in. Your dad runs that martial arts gym. You must know some self-defense. Why didn't you help him? Maybe Chloe Reynolds thought if Damien got hurt, she could finally swoop in? Guess she didn't count on Isabel being braver and saving him instead. Bad calculation on her part. The baseless speculation swirled around me. No matter how much I tried to explain, it was useless. Amidst the chorus of accusations, Damien spoke, his voice cold as ice. Chloe Reynolds, I only have one question for you. Did you refuse to save me because Caleb Vance paid you off? The entire party went dead silent. Every single person stared at me. I clutched the fabric of my dress, staring back at him in disbelief. Damien, you know perfectly well I don't even know Caleb Vance. His brow furrowed deeply, making the skin around the gauze patch look even more menacing. After a long, tense moment, he suddenly signaled for Isabel to wheel him away. The situation was left hanging, unresolved. Everyone exchanged confused glances, wondering why he hadn't pressed me further. But a sickening feeling washed over me, a terrible premonition. I had barely left the party when someone clamped a hand over my mouth and nose, dragging me away. Half an hour later, I was shoved onto the dusty floor of an abandoned factory, 3rd floor, forced to kneel before Damien Thorne. What do you want? I tried to scream. Damien just put a finger to his lips, silencing me with a gesture. Then, strong hands forced my head down, making me bend over. He looked up at me from his wheelchair, his remaining eye glinting maliciously. Chloe Reynolds, why didn't you save me this time? His voice was chillingly calm. It should have been you with the broken leg, blind eye. Before I could even process the horrifying implication that he remembered, his large hand slammed against my back. He fucking shoved me out of the 3rd-story window. Help me. I jolted awake again, gasping. But this time, I wasn't back at the alley. I was in a hospital bed. My parents were beside me, their faces etched with worry. Chloe, you're finally awake. What happened? How did you end up in that remote place? Thank God some villagers found you and brought you here. Any later, Anne? My mind instantly flashed to Damien's eyes, crimson and terrifying. He remembered too. He tried to kill me again. A few police officers walked in, their expressions serious. Miss Reynolds, can you recall anything that happened before you fell? Did someone push you, or did you accidentally slip? My mouth opened, Damien's name on the tip of my tongue. But then I thought of Caleb. Caleb managed to fake an alibi for being out of town. Damien could easily do the same. Besides, I had no proof. None at all. I'm sorry, I whispered, my voice hoarse. I can't remember clearly. The police left their contact information and departed. After a few days in the hospital, my parents rushed me home. My phone had been smashed in the fall, so I hadn't seen any news. Only when I got home did I find out. The security footage of me walking past the alley had been posted online by Damien. He used the Thorne family's media connections to paint me as a greedy, scheming villain. Someone who conspired with the bastard's son, Caleb, to murder him. And my fall? He spun it as a suicide attempt driven by guilt. In a live video feed, Damien sat in his wheelchair, looking heartbroken and betrayed. Before Chloe Reynolds jumped, he said, his voice thick with fake emotion, she confessed to me. She admitted she brought those men there. If Isabel hadn't shown up when she did, they would have killed me. Then Caleb could have inherited the Thorne fortune without any obstacles. His words ignited a firestorm online. Caleb's out-of-town alibi suddenly seemed irrelevant in the court of public opinion. I stared at the news reports, utterly stunned. Damien was even more ruthless this time around. He found out I didn't die from the fall, so now he was going to destroy my life. Chloe, there's no time to pack. We have to go, now. My parents burst into my room, grabbing my arm, but it was too late. A crowd had already gathered outside our house. Reporters, gawking neighbors, and a few grim-faced men I didn't recognize. My dad quickly jammed a hat onto my head, pulling me behind him protectively. My daughter is innocent, he shouted. Microphones were thrust forward. Miss Reynolds, is what Mr. Thorne said true? Did you pursue him for years, and when rejected, conspire with Caleb Vance out of hatred to kill him? What was your deal with Caleb? How much did he promise you? Even 5% of the Thorne fortune would set your family up for life, wouldn't it? Miss Reynolds, don't you feel any guilt for almost killing the man you supposedly loved? The questions came one after another, sharp and accusing. I clenched my fists, yelling into the nearest microphone, no, it's all lies. Damien is making it up. I've never even met Caleb Vance. People in the crowd held up their phones, recording. They didn't believe me. Someone yelled, Caleb Vance is a wanted fugitive now. Of course, you'd deny it. Otherwise, you'd be an accomplice. I tried desperately to argue, to make them listen. Suddenly, a rock flew through the air, hitting the side of the house.